Welcome to Switch Comics. My name is Marco, and today is Wednesday, New Comic Day, and I got some pretty good comics to talk about. Not a ton. It was another short week for comics, so I think I have maybe 12 books or so. Something like 10 to 12 books. But before we get into talking about comics, let me first tell you about my giveaway. I'm giving away 3 awesome comic bundles at 500 subscribers. That's right, 3 lucky subscribers will each win one of these 3 comic bundles. All you have to do to enter is simply be subscribed and leave a comment on this video. If you would like additional chances to win, you can watch other videos on my channel and leave comments on those as well. Each comment on a new video is another chance to win. Good luck. And we are getting so close to that 500 subscriber mark. I think we are at about 450 right now, so inching there. Every day we're getting closer and closer, and you all will be getting those comics very soon. 3 of you winning 3 different bundles. I'm excited to see who the winners will be. There's lots of support on the channel. I've been loving the growth, and yeah, I'm excited to see who's going to get it. But let's talk some comics. So surprisingly enough, basically no Marvel comics, which is really weird for me. Just none of my books came out this week, I guess, which is weird because I have a lot of them. But a lot of indie stuff, which it feels like I really should do a tally because I have about 50 books on my pull list, and I need to do a count and see how much Marvel. I know there's not a lot of. There's like 2 or 3 DC titles? I think it's just 2. And then, you know, just compare the indie versus Marvel, or actually even breaking down the indie and seeing, you know, like which studios I'm reading more of would be interesting, I think. I might do that at some point when I get some time and I remember to actually do something before I click record on the camera. So the only 2 Marvel books I got I didn't actually even read. We got Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters #4, and again, I'm just super far behind on the series. When you have an event like this and a bunch of tie-ins, I do it all the time. It's like, well, I'm going to read them all, and then, you know, you have one bad week where you don't have a lot of time, and then you're down 3 books, and then, you know, you hold it off, and then now you're down 6 books, and, you know, it happens, and, you know, I get busy, and it's inevitable, unfortunately. But they're all in order in my short box of things to read. And then the other book was Dr. Aphra 14. Again, War of the Bounty Hunters tie-in. I'll get around to it. And then only 1 DC book this week. Very good one, though. We got Nice House on the Lake. This is number 4, right? Where's the number? Yep, number 4. And this was a really solid book. I've really enjoyed this one. I've been really enjoying the series in general. I'm trying to remember because I actually read this one a few days ago because we, you know, but I just like how creepy and eerie the series is. I feel like this book actually is the first one that really starts to move forward a little bit, because the first 3 books were a lot of setup and introducing the characters and motivation. This issue, they're finally, for the most part, because everyone, I like that there's so many different people and they're all taking it in different ways. Some people are, you know, suicidal. Some people are freaking out. Some people they're like, cool, you know, we're chilling here at this house. You know, we get whatever food we want. We get, you know, we get to just chill and things. Even though the world outside us is burning, it's like, you know, everything right here is okay. We can kind of calm down for a second and, you know, enjoy ourselves. Or some people are even like enjoying themselves as, you know, more in a coping mechanism. Like, you know, the world is ruined and everything's gone, so I'm just gonna indulge myself. And I like all these different takes, and it really helps to make it all feel real and make all these characters feel like they're their own, you know, person set in this environment. And it's a really good book. If you haven't read it, I know that first issue is now, well, the first print's expensive. I don't know about the second print. There's also a third print, so I'm sure you can get you a cheap printing of that book if you need to. And to my knowledge, 2 and 3 haven't gone up any at all. So really recommend the series. One of my favorite books that I read. I look forward to it very much. Another one that's getting high on my list we got The Me You Love in the Dark, number 2. And this one, nice little Scotty Young book. Well, he's writing it anyway. He's not the artist. Jorge Corona is the artist. And I really like his stuff too. His art's really good. It's an interesting little story. It's not like super packed with anything happen. It's this relationship between an artist and almost the void of... If you've done anything artistic, I'm sure you've had, writer's block of some degree, whether, you just don't know what to paint, or you don't know what to write, or, even making videos, sometimes I'm like, I just don't know what I want to make a video about. Sometimes I'll be on the roll and I'm like, okay, I got so many ideas, and then other times it's just like, I don't know, is there anything in the world to talk about? Even though there's a billion things to talk about, it's just sometimes you get stuck in the head, and I feel like this book is displaying this idea of writer's block and being stuck in your ways and looking to change yourself, but it's also presenting it in a somewhat romantic way of finding something when there's nothing, I guess. But at the same time, I'm curious at which direction this book will be going, because I don't know. It's hard to say that this thing, that whatever it is that's in the dark, we don't really know yet. It's hard to say what its intentions are, if it will be good, if it will be hurtful in any way, if there will be any kind of interesting, dichotomy breaking down the relationship. Maybe, there's always a give and a take, and maybe sometimes, or somewhere along in the story, it's going to, pull harder in one direction. I elbowed my dresser. But regardless, I really like it. It's a super, super cool book, and I do recommend this series as well. Really, really enjoy it. Got the poster on the wall. Next up, we got Ordinary Gods. And this one, I'm enjoying Ordinary Gods, but it's not one of my favorite books. I feel like it suffers a bit from, there is too much going on. Like, it's got a good idea of this cool concept, but it's like, maybe it's too far for me. Maybe other people might enjoy it more. And I do think, even at the shop, I think there's people that, I think Shay and Mitch might be enjoying this series more than I am, and I enjoy different series more than they do. So, sometimes books are just a little subjective. Maybe it's not exactly 100% my cup of tea. That being said, I'm enjoying it. I read it when it comes out, but it's not a book that I'm like, oh, can't wait for that next one. Unlike this next one, Not All Robots, number 2. I've been waiting on this one. And this, I can't get, I think maybe there might be 2 other people reading this at the shop. I love this book. I think this book is super, super cool. The premise is it's a, kind of dystopian future. There's a lot of, the planet's wrecked with pollution and this and that or whatever, but the robots have evolved to be, the superior species, and the humans are like pets. More or less. We don't have to... They're presented in a way like everything's fine. We don't have to work. We don't have to do anything. They go do all the jobs, and they take care of us. Each family is assigned a robot as a guardian, basically. But at the same time, humans are very much a subspecies in this... infrastructure, and the robots don't see it as that way, and it's very political in ways, and it's just so good because the robots, I'm sorry, all have personalities. They're kind of very human-like in their own way, and there's even there's a movement about how the robots, in this issue in particular, the robots are like, we should be armed, we don't feel safe, and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, in last issue, what was it? I think they killed all of, was it San Francisco? I don't remember what city it was, but it was 200,000 people or something all died because, again, super bad pollution, everything. Every city's in a bubble, I think. and they turned off the air in that one, and everyone died. And there is a trial in this scene for that robot, and it is a far exaggeration of. I guess you could even like relate it to maybe like a police trial here. How a lot of times it doesn't seem like they get a fair, like they're very lenient on them, without getting too political. But and it's not like a 1-for-1 comparison, but it just shows that they're in control. And I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's interesting. I really enjoy it, and I try to recommend this book to people. And like I said, at least at my shop, there is next to no one reading it, and it's one of my favorite reads, I think, as well. Even though it's only issue 2, the first issue got me hooked. Super excited for this issue, and this issue was great as well. Another really good one. Then again, no one's reading. I think maybe we have one person reading. We have Mamo, number 3, and this is a super different book. It's a book that I guess it's hard to sell people on because it's very laid back. It's about a witch and this human, they're both human. Music. Magic is very loose in this book. It's not super fantastical or anything. They're just like, yeah, we can kind of do some magic. It's kind of more, natural based and not super, super crazy, far out shooting blast and lasers or anything. It's very down to earth. I don't know if that's the exact term I want to use, but it very muted, I guess. And so yeah, that's the witch, and she's not super powerful. She more so just knows things. She knows how to do things and how to do magic, and it's not something, at least in this issue, it also feels like it's not something that necessarily no one else can do. It's just that she was raised as a witch, I guess, and this is the stuff she was taught. But anyway, they're going around. Her grandmother, her bones are scattered across, I think Harrisden is the name of the town, and her bones are cursed, and it's a thicker issue as well, which all the Mamo issues are. They're all a bit thicker. They're $4.99 books, and they really take their time, and I really enjoy how immersed I can feel with these characters. These feel like very definitive in their personalities, and it's just I enjoy how slow it is, which slow can be a very bad thing for most books, but this feels almost like if you're watching like a good slice of life movie or something, and it's those little moments that kind of really stand out, for me at least. And it might not be something for everyone, and I guess I can get that. Because, for example, Avengers Endgame, I'll just take for an example, I guess. There's all these, there's a huge ending fight scene, and all kinds of cool, Captain America versus Captain America. Captain America gets Mjolnir. Thor's got, Stormbreaker and Mjolnir. All these cool, awesome moments. But one of my absolute favorite scenes from that movie is when Tony comes back, after he almost died with Nebula in space, and he's all dehydrated and everything, and they're kind of talking, catching up to speed, and he has that emotional outburst against Captain America, where he's like, we failed because we weren't standing together, and blah blah blah, whatever else, how he said, I love that scene so much, and it's something that I don't think a lot of people maybe appreciate or think of. It's not the first thing they think of when they think of that movie, but I think of that scene very often. I like those little personal moments. Kind of also like in Civil War, when Tony's watching the footage of his parents die and just his facial expression. That's what I really remember. I remember little moments like that are personal. And this book is very personal to these characters, and that's why I enjoy it. And then moving on, I only got a few more books. Like I said, light week, but good week. Eve, number 5. This is the last part of the series. It wrapped up fine. I can't help but feel it was a little fast. Especially there's feels like a big time jump at the end of it. I enjoyed this series. Wasn't one of my favorite series, but it was a fun read. Only 5 issues. So, if you wanted to catch on to it or, read the trade later or something like that, it wouldn't be a very long read. It was interesting, had lots of twists and turns. I don't feel like there was I feel like each issue kind of leading up to this had like a pretty big twist of like, oh my god, this is like not at all what I was thinking. And then suddenly next issue, this is not at all what I was thinking, And then this one, more or less, it I don't know, it didn't surprise me like the other issues did. Not to say that it was bad, but it was a fine read. And also it doesn't help that there were some really, really good books this week. So, then we have Bountiful Garden, #1. It's a new book here. I literally just picked it up because I thought the cover looked cool. And I flipped through the art and I was like, yeah, art looks alright. Let's see what's going on here. So, I think it's 30 is the year. I know they say it early on, but I can't remember. Anyway, so it's a bunch of kids, and it seems they didn't go a ton into their backstory, but it seems like they've been sent because they're all like, some of them are engineers or scientists or botanists or different things. They all have like their own certain skills. A perfectly crafted little team with a particular job, and it seems like the Earth's in trouble, and they're sent out to like terraform a new planet to make a new hospitable living planet for Earth. Doesn't really say where they're going. This is like the first couple of pages, so I don't feel like spoiling the story or anything, but they wake up from cryo sleep, and they're all kind of like, what's going on? We're not supposed to be awake yet, and they're trying to figure out like how far away from destination. It says they're 10 years away, and they're not supposed to be awake yet, but there's damage to the ship in some way, kind of vague. He didn't really say how, but they're above a planet that they aren't familiar with, and they kind of got to figure out what's going on. I like the premise, and I like the setup for it so far. The only issue I kind of have with it is they're immediately freaking out, like as soon as they come out of the cryo sleep, like, what's going on? Why, they're freaking out. They're like, some of them are crying, and at this point they haven't even said like we're 10 years away or this or that or whatever. It felt like they just immediately all started panicking, and again, it didn't feel like what I really like about Nice House on the Lake is everyone's reaction to it is very personal and different. There's some people that have very similar reactions, and they can kind of, relate to each other a bit better about how they're dealing with everything. But this one, everyone's just immediately freaking out, and it just seemed a little far for me. It was like, okay, calm down a little bit, guys. It wasn't like the ship's not on fire or nothing like that. It's just they're awake and the ship isn't moving. But again, they could have woken up and been right next to the location. They hadn't. This is before they had any information on where they were, what was going on. So I don't know. Little minor writing critique, I guess, in that one. I feel like you could have set it up differently. Also, remember that if you're gonna have a story with multiple characters, try to differ how they react to things a bit. If there was an explosion, sure, everybody can be freaking out, what's going on, but when it's something minute, and I don't think everybody, and granted, I guess they are children, but they shouldn't all have the exact same reaction, is my take on it. And then I picked up one new book from Behemoth. I don't know if I've ever got a Behemoth comic. It's called 9 Stones. And again, I was like, the art's pretty cool looking. There's one thing I kind of don't like about the art, that I like. The art looks good, but it's just constantly in this, and it looks the same pretty much as the cover here. It has this super harsh lighting at all times. It looks like a poorly lit student film or something, where they just didn't have any soft boxes and everything is just super harsh lighting all the time. I don't know, maybe that's me being a bit of a film nerd. I don't know. Maybe it won't bother you. And like I said, there's parts of it that I really like. I like the style. I enjoyed the story so far, even though there's not a lot. It's a bit of a thinner book. A brief summary, I guess, would be, well, I don't know, because it kind of came out as a surprise, so I don't want to ruin it. I'll be more vague. So the main character, he's on his way to his new job. It's his second day. There's something weird that happens kind of immediately, not explained in the book, but it's brought back up near the end of the book. There's something weird going on with them. I don't know if it's a character or something in his mind, or I don't really know what, but they get in trouble while on the job. They're doing a delivery. It really kind of takes a hard right turn at this point, because it just seems like such a blah, whatever, normal day type thing, normal human life, and then it's like, oh, okay, his job is not what I thought his job was. And then again, it's setting up for something weird with this special character. I don't really want to reveal too much about it, but I also am trying to make it sound interesting. I enjoyed it. I can't say that I fell in love immediately. Like I said, it is quite short, so there's that. I feel like it definitely could have used for a bit more. For what it was, though, for the short little story that it was, I feel like the pacing was really good. Again, like I felt like it was... If the beginning was any longer, I feel like it could have got real boring. So I feel like, they transitioned really quickly. And I did like that. Yeah, it's a weird story because I don't really want to spoil anything. So I think I'll just leave it at that. So let's see, what were my favorite books for the week? Definitely Nice House. I absolutely love Nice House, and probably Not All Robots. Although the Me You Love in the Dark is also super, super fantastic. But these are my two picks, or favorite books of the week, I guess. The Me You Love in the Dark, super, super close runner-up. In some ways, I kind of like it more than Not All Robots. I like Not All Robots because there's so much... I don't know, I really like when you make robots have their own personalities, and there's the story and the premise of Not All Robots is really good. But I really like the Me You Love in the Dark. It feels very personal, and it's one of those things, I guess I feel more attached to it myself personally, being an artist of different things. That, well, some of you all might not know, I'm a musician. I used to draw and paint and stuff, and I feel very connected to that book in that way. I don't think you have to have that connection, and again, it doesn't have to be, because in the book she's a painter. I don't think it has to be that thing. Like I said, you could video edit, you could write, you could do all kinds of different things. There's different things that are creative, even though it might not be the first thing people think of, like, oh, you're an artist, you're a painter, No, there's tons of things you can bring art to in life, even if it seems like a normal task or a normal job. But that's going to be it for this week. As always, if there was a cool book that came out and I didn't read it, please let me know about it. I can't help but feel that maybe I missed a Marvel book. It just feels weird not to read any Marvel book this week. But I don't know. Like I said, small week. It happens sometimes. But if you decide to read something that I recommend and you enjoy it, please let me know. I love hearing when people, say, like, I'm so glad you turned me on to this series. It's super cool. Especially some of this indie stuff, just doesn't get a lot of recognition a lot of the times. Sometimes it blows up huge, but, something like Not All Robots, I don't think is doing anything, and I think it's a fantastic story. Super, super good. But that's going to be it for today. I will see you all, hopefully soon. Like I said, again, preface, this week's a little crazy. A lot of work I've been doing at the shop, and then also I'm going to Lexington Comic-Con this Friday and Saturday, so uploads might be iffy this weekend, but hopefully Hopefully I'll still have a video out Friday. That's the plan. If not, I will see you all sometime this week.